Hello, everybody. Welcome to Awaken Positive Power, where beautiful Darcy Marta, my co-host, and myself, Jemima Godsall, come to you each week talking to you about topics surrounding mental health, where mental health matters. I'm also an ambassador for Theraexpressions Meditation in Casper, Wyoming, where there too mental health matters. Each week, as I said, Darcy and I bring a different topic to sort of discuss around mental health issues or depression or anything that sort of sparks an interest in our mental health. So, Das, today, what do you want to be talking about? We were talking about if you don't know, how do you change it? Correct?
Sort of, yes, kind of, yes. So,
sorry, guys, just before we start, firstly, there is a disclaimer down below. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it today, guys. Okay, I've just had a breathwork session and I'm like kind of discombobulated. So, but it's 100% authentic, isn't it, Das? We come as 100% authentic, no excuses. Anyway, there is a disclaimer down below, but more importantly, there is in America, there's a fantastic new national number 988 for suicide prevention and mental health. And there are some other numbers down there for Europe and Australia. So please make sure you know you're never alone. And if you need to reach out to anyone, it's there. The number's there. Right. Anyway, back to discombobulated Jemima and beautiful Darcy. Yes.
That's an idea. So we were talking about the fact that, Jemima, you've had 2.5 years of sobriety now, right? So you're
2 years and 9 months. Thank you. 2 years and 9 months. Thank you. Yeah.
9 months. Yeah, got to give her every ounce of this, every inch. And one of the reasons I was saying that you've made such progress, I feel, one of the reasons is, and you've done most of this has all been done by yourself. You've chosen to do this. And I think the reason that you are successful or becoming successful, even though you have a lot of work to do still, is because you have your connection to your spirituality, your higher self, the higher consciousness, and you have your connection to your Pilates and yoga and that kind of work. So you've got these two areas that are giving you fuel to help you move forward with your own personal healing and a desire to do that healing. Being someone who's been into Pilates and yoga and taking care of your body, even though you were abusing it terribly with the drugs, right? You were still doing the Pilates, which I really don't understand. I'm really impressed.
I know. I know, it's crazy right? Respect.
Yeah, you're a little ever ready battery. But that, I think that energy of the exercise, knowing how to get up and be and show up and be present and be in the class and doing that with your clients every day is really important, because you're showing up for yourself. And then the connection to spirit is the thing that's been helping you in the heart, is that there's a higher sense of self, a higher reason to be here, and so that when you do drag down into that human muck of grasping and clinging and poor me and that kind of stuff, your sense of spirit or higher self can pull you back up and out again. And so I really feel that having those two things has really been such a blessing for you. And then, of course, you have friends and family that are supporting you, but they're not there with you.
Yep.
You're lucky now that you have a lovely partner, but even that can be challenging if you don't do the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I have to say something about the spirituality too. Yeah, I was raised Catholic, and then I became atheist due to my rape, and also my spirituality has been like tainted. And I was a tryharder, just pretending to be spiritual before my collapse, my suicide. And it really wasn't until my suicide attempt, after my suicide attempt, when I was sort of struggling, and then I came clean with drugs. When I asked the universe, I was practicing all these tools of how to get happy and stuff. I was starting to believe, starting to feel. But when I asked the universe, do I renew my lease? And the angels came down, literally. I'm sorry, guys. It's not wally wag I'm saying, but it's true. The angels came down and downloaded, you are going on a road trip across America to raise my awareness for suicide prevention. And I was like, that was so far from what I thought I was going to be doing. And I knew it wasn't me. And it was divine guidance. And I was like, all the tools I've been practicing for those 8 months up until that moment, I was like, oh my God, this is all worth it now. I'm not just doing it. Like, I'm not just doing it for the sake of doing it, for the sake of trying to keep myself entertained or trying to persuade myself that this is around this heart, that I'm just trying to fool myself in a way just to survive during COVID isolation. But oh my God, this is divine guidance. Aside from me surviving my suicide attempt, which I still haven't quite fathomed. I still didn't really understand why I was there. But
Right.
with the download of what I was doing at the end of August was just like, this is way bigger than me, way bigger than I really saw why I had chosen. Even as I was recovering from my suicide attempt and my drugs, I was sort of going through the motions, but not really knowing how I discovered these things, how I discovered these classes, how it was like, and I look back and I think that was the angels going, you are changing your life right now. You have got this meetup. You are in isolation. You're forced to heal. You've got to find all these tools, the beginning of breath work, the beginning of sound therapy, the beginning of all these things I'm doing now. And aside from fantastic ability to do Pilates and things, but I hadn't really connected the mind, body, spirit that way. I was really doing it just to save my life.
Yeah.
So everything sort of changed that way. But without it, yes, Darcy, without those things, I'd be lost. Like trying to recover, I don't know how you would, because there'd be no reason to.
Yeah, that's right. It's what's really, really hard. And then, I have this family member who is struggling with their recovery because they don't have an understanding of those connections. They do have an understanding of like horticulture and nature, and I'm going to help them try to hook into that aspect, and perhaps in that area they can begin to lift themselves out. But when you are down and out, when you're really down and out and there's no money and you have no transportation and you have no resources and you're used to being an addict and you feel like the world doesn't want you, it is really hard to pull yourself up out of that if you don't have a connection to spirit or a connection to get you back in your body and out of those mental loops, those mental negative voices that just say, why bother? What's the point? Who do you think
it still happens to me. Like today, I woke up in a very, very fragile mood for no reason. I think it's actually because I'm doing my breathwork training. But I felt like a failure. Second I woke up for no reason. I had a great day yesterday. I'm laughing all night. Woke up and I felt this creeping in, just this feeling of like, I'm such a loser, I'm such a failure. Why am I even bothering doing any of this? Like, this is just, the end. The drama queen comes in, not to dismiss her, but I will label her the drama queen or the blob. and it's really, it's something that I'll have to deal with for a long time, if not forever, but I don't have tools to deal with it. And I know it is a challenge to find that first bit of light. But I also know that we are of age. I'm 48, and it's my choice to find that light. And I do have, I guess, I have a little bit of stern energy here, I feel, because I feel like slap, come on, we get it together. If you really are honest with that, you want to recover, you've got to reach out and say, okay, and like people, I mean, fair enough, you don't have anyone around you, but just say a person did have someone saying, here's a class you can do, and you don't have to move, and they don't do it, don't show up, like that's playing victim to it again. And I'm sounding like a bitch,
and that's a really, it's hard. That's a hard space.
It is.
Because somebody could give you everything you need and it may not be enough. It may not be it. Because a lot of times, as addicts, people come from places where no one was teaching how to show up for themselves. Those, like this family member was not taught, what does it mean to show up for yourself? What does it mean to be present, value yourself, and do what's right by yourself? It's different, and then you get caught up in that whole ugly drug world where you're just dealing with ugly, ugly people, bad elements, and then you get even less value because now you're a victim of that situation. So not showing up for yourself, and then it devalues you, and then you allow yourself to be devalued more and more and more. And then all of a sudden, having to learn how to show up for yourself is really hard, you know. And I think that it's really important to, if there's anyone out there listening to this, to let yourself join a group. Find a healthy, I mean, I guess this is how come people end up in cults and stuff, you know, but join a group of healthy, like-minded individuals that are presenting the right ideas about self-love, self-value, showing up, being present, and being the person that you show up for. You know, don't try to get everybody else.
Sorry, and even yes, definitely, Darcy. But if there, I'm going to promote, I don't know if it's right to, but I'm going to. If you feel like you can't go outside, if you don't want to look in the paper or anything to go to a group outside, go to Meetup, MEETUP, Meetup. It is a national organization where there are thousands of groups. That's what I did during COVID, because everything did shut. It was actually, I think it came around before COVID. I can't remember, just before, but it boomed. That's where I advertise my Pilates classes. That's where I got my clients from. But there are some free things, there are some paid for things, but there's thousands of groups, from horticulture to weird science to spirituality to so many things. And people like just you and me, Das, just come on and create a group. Like my Pilates class just got on. You hopefully get a few people to jump on, but there's always something that you can find. There's a group there. And if you can find, I mean, during COVID, I committed to like 20 of those groups, and I went to every meeting all night. But that's where I started this. I felt like I wasn't alone. I was able to reach out and discover my spirituality. Some of the things were kind of weird, other things were really cool. And you can not turn up again if it doesn't work for you, but you're never alone. So if you can't go outside, but I think exactly what you said, Das, finding a group of like-minded people, something that can deter you from that, your thoughts of negativity, and so
something
important.
to hold you responsible to show up, you know, something that says, you know, be present, show up tomorrow, you know, make a commitment to yourself. Find this in yourself to make a commitment to, you know, is really, really important. Because there are people out there that don't have that. And, you know, after working with children, little children, you know, there are some kids where you just want to go, okay, you know, stop it. Just stop it right there, you know, not to scream, or, you know, that's not going to work on me. So don't try to scream to get what you want. And it doesn't work. Strong arming little children, it will work for such a short period of time until either they start trying to strong arm back, or they start inhibiting their own ability to have their own voice and say what they want, because they haven't learned how to say what they need or what they want. So if a kid needs something and they throw a tantrum and scream, it's because they feel that they're not being heard, or they don't know how else to say it. And if the reaction is always, oh, stop screaming, I cannot and will not listen to you when you're screaming, go sit down, go away, then that kid's either going to generally scream louder, or throw their toys, or break something, or whatever, you know, just act out until they get heard. But to be recognized and to say, wow, I see you've got some really big feelings about this. I would love to talk to you about it. I need you to pause and reset yourself so that I can hear you. Can't hear you when you scream at me, but I'm happy to listen. And then, okay, I hear you're disappointed. And teaching a child how to self-regulate. But most of us were just strong-armed into it. And a lot of people are too sensitive for that and don't even realize it. You know, so you can try to strong-arm people into showing up, or, you know, say snap out of it, and it may not work. You may get more resistance, even. It may get more depressing. And, well, it's just, I can't, and I don't know how, or I don't have the time, or, I mean, I hear it all the time as a hypnotherapist. I hear people, oh, we make the tapes, right? We do a session. I do 2-hour sessions. I make an hour session, and I will have clients tell me, no, I haven't had time to listen to it. I'm like, don't give me that shit. You've had time to listen to YouTube for an hour. I'm sure you can go on Facebook and get sucked into it for an hour. I bet you watched a TV show this week or 2, and that's 2 hours. I'm sure you did lots of distraction stuff all week long. So don't tell me you didn't have time to listen to that hour recording where you got to do the internal work.
The work, yeah.
You paid me to help you do. So I've heard that from people, and instead of getting mad at them generally, I laugh at everybody, and then I'll say, I'm really sorry you're so busy. I bet you really need to rest and recuperate from all that. Well, you have no better way to do that than to listen to that recording that's only an hour long.
There you go.
Right? That's the best way to
go.
rest and recoup. You paid a lot of money for that. You should utilize it. Because a lot of times we resist our well-being. We resist what's good for us. But I have this quote in front of me, and it says, the more resistance you experience, the more important your unmanifested project is to you. And then the more gratification you will feel when you finish it. So it's finding the hook that can get you through the resistance.
I think too, a lot of people who are struggling, we were talking about retraining the brain, like, how if it's for this family member of yours, you said it was childhood influence, like that's all they know type thing. Right. So it is so, everyone's so different, and that makes it so much more of a different story than just stop it and do whatever. You've got to retrain your brain. We all have to retrain our brain, but you also need to reach out to someone to help you retrain the brain, because that's what we decided this topic about. How do you start and know how to do it if you've never done it? And don't be ashamed to reach out to somebody. That's exciting. And there are lots of free places. There are so many free community groups that you can start with. And I don't know, I just feel the energy. I feel that desperate energy, and go, it's not worth it. I can't. It's like, you can. It is worth it, and there is free stuff. And you just got to believe. You've got to take that first step. And everyone's time is worth it. Every one of us is worth that energy to put into thyself.
Right.
Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff.
It is heavy. And, my heart really goes out to people who are sitting by themselves going, I don't know where to start, or I know where to start, but I can't make myself do it. I can't make that's usually my big issue. I'll have a big resistance energy show up for the day, and I'll, like stuff I need to do, and I'll procrastinate. Procrastination's a whole big issue, right? You procrastinate, totally. And then you realize your procrastination is just resistance. It's resistance, and then that you look at resistance and you start to say, well, what am I really afraid of? And it's all mental tension and emotional tension, fear of failure, fear of, if I get better and then things don't get better, then where will I be? If you take away my suffering, who will I be? Because all I've known is my suffering self.
Well, that's very interesting. Today I was battling my brain again, but I was talking to someone in breathwork session saying, having a crying, going, I just don't understand where this comes from. But then I was had a moment where I thought, I know where this is coming from. It's all I've known for so many years is abuse and violence, from myself and from my surrounding, from my environment, from my closest environment. And that's, what do I do without that? And here I go in my habitual way when I feel a little fragile, or I don't know, is to go straight to that violent voice in my head. She's not nice, she's mean, it's a horrible voice, but it's the way I would prick myself with a needle. You know what I mean? But instead of doing that, or instead of being in a bad relationship, I go straight to this, what I feel is my normal, and it's not normal. And it's horrible to think that we jump back into these bad behaviors because it's all we know. And you've got to retrain that brain. You've got to be aware of it and take a step to retrain the brain, to take a moment, go, damn, I see where this is coming from, and I don't want this anymore. I'm ready for peace and love myself and love everyone around me. And it is possible to do that to a point. you know, but it's like, it's amazing, you know, if that's all you know, then what else do you know? How do you know until you get educated in it, until someone enlightens you to it, until you discover it somehow yourself. But don't be afraid to reach out, people. And if you're afraid even of going to a community outside, ring 988 in America. Ring 988 in America and say, I don't know what to do. And you're on the phone. You can do that much. I swear you can do that much for yourself. Just get on. And if it's not working, just hang up. Just hang up. You know what I mean? Just take that step to make that movement. And even if you hang up, maybe that will inspire, maybe you'll feel the energy in your body and you go, oh my God, I took that first step, and you'll be inspired the next little step. You're never alone. My God, I feel like I'm going to cry. I'm crying today. Anyway, hopefully our conversation does. Let's close this conversation here. I'm getting all wired. Hey, thank you for your input. You're amazing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. But more importantly, 988 national US number, and for Europeans and Australia, there is another number down there. Darcy, good luck with your family member. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
And thank you again for your wonderful words of wisdom. I love you.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next week. Peace out, everyone. Bye. Hang on, I've got to find record. I'm on my phone, so wait, everyone. It's going to be extended record. Okay, now I can go. Bye.
Bye.
Oh no, hang on. Here we go. Bye. Oh no, hang on. Here we go.